Tansei, welcome to Métis Minute, your source for Métis news in Region 7. Welcome back to Métis Minute. I am your host, Samantha Loney, and today we are going to be covering a story that was brought up at the recent Gravenhurst City Council meeting concerning accessibility. As you may have seen from a previous Métis Minute, we sat down with Barrie South Simcoe Métis Council citizen Marie Francis to discuss accessibility and the housing units that the MNO is building in Region 7. We will leave a link to that interview at the end of the episode for those of you interested in watching that. But today we are continuing the conversation of accessibility with the Gravenhurst City Council.
Okay, so next on the list we have recommendations of advisory subcommittees. Councillor Varney. It is moved by Councillor Varney and seconded by Councillor... I need a seconder. Councillor Hunter. Whereas handrails are not currently installed at the Graeme Murray Arena at the Gravenhurst Centennial Centre to assist with traversing the stairs in the public seating area, and whereas those with mobility difficulties and physical disabilities, utilize the arena and the handrails would assist them while traversing the stairs. Therefore, be it resolved that the installation of handrails for the Graeme Murray seating area be considered and included as a project in the future capital budget. Councillor Varney, you'd like to speak to this?
Yes, through you, Madam Mayor. I am really quite pleased to speak to this. I'm on the Committee of the Adjustment for Gravenhurst, and apparently we've discovered that this is a request that has come to this committee 10 years ago, and the fact that we've been informed that the stairs at the arena are not to code, and I have been in that arena, and I know they're very high, and now, from personal experience, just having had a knee replacement, I doubt very much that I could climb those stairs without help or with railings. So I think that this is something that's absolutely essential. The committee has definitely felt that this has gone on for too long. I don't understand why the stairs, when the building was built, that the stairs weren't to code, but so be it. And so I think that's even more of a reason for us to have these railings put in place. I think they think of it as being a single railing up the center of the stairs so people on both sides can use them. But I have had other people say, oh, that's such a good idea. And also thinking about the fact, like, this is happening more and more now. For example, the Rotary seating now at Gull Lake Park. They do not have railings, and I'm quite sure down the road we might have requests to have railings there. Anyway, I'm bringing this and hoping that this can go to towards the capital budget in this year so that it can be paid for by the town completely, and it will be very beneficial for the public. Thank you.
Before I open it up, I just want to get some clarification about this building to code comment, because I don't know that to be true, and so I want to be careful about putting that out there, that we have buildings that aren't to code. So Andrew, Director Stacey.
Through you, Your Worship, that would be better directed at the CBO, who would issue a building permit for the facility. To be honest, I am doubtful it did meet the code of the day. It may not be the preference for a staircase today, but I'm not convinced at the time it didn't meet code. But to affirm that, we would need to check with the CBO.
So I think, like a lot of things, it was built to code at the time. I mean, the arena was built, so I just want to be really careful about saying things, making broad statements like that the building is not to code. We all know that the Ontario Disabilities Act has come a long way, and there's things that have changed. And I mean, you don't have to go further than uptown to notice, you know, there's doorways, there's all kinds of things, and I think that this is probably a case of that. But I just want to clarify that it was built to code when it was built. So let's, I just want to clear that up. If we were to build them today, would we do them separately, differently? Probably, for sure. But I am going to go to Councillor Johnston on the, it's on the motion. Or actually, I'll go to Councillor Hunter because she did second it. No, she's fine. Councillor Johnston, go ahead.
Thank you, Your Worship. Just a comment. I'm very much in favor of this. Absolutely, it's a no-brainer for me. But my comment, maybe CEO Lucas could comment on this, or the treasurer. I don't believe this is a capital project. This is operational. It's not a capital project. Stairs. That's maybe moot. I'm very much in favor of it. But capital project means next year. If we can do something earlier than that, I think it behooves us to do that. Thank you.
Mr. Lucas?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I think I'd answer that with well, a usual response, which is it depends on how significant the project is, and obviously this is something that's not planned work for 2024. And I was going to take the opportunity anyway, actually, to clarify really what this motion does is put it on staff's radar as we're preparing for the budget. You may not see it in the recommended budget in year one necessarily. As you know, we do a 5-year capital plan when we present to council in the later in this year. But it's something that will reflect somewhere in the presentation of the budget that council can either change if it's not satisfactory to what council wants to see. So really what this does is put it on the radar for consideration in the upcoming budget cycle. But again, to the original question, it really depends on how significant of a system we'd be putting into place beyond what's there right now. So I think it probably warrants a bit more assessment of the standards and how much differentiation there is between current requirements and what's there and what was built originally. So long-winded answer of saying it depends, but I suspect if we're going to put a significant railing system up in that area, it's a one-time capital budget project that we need to do some planning for, and this gets it on the radar and allows us to do some costing accordingly.
Councillor Jorgensen?
Thank you, Your Worship. I've got some concerns with the wording of this because it does speak to considering handrails, but including them in a future capital budget regardless. So I think it's more along the lines, and I think we do need to clear up the, the comment that was made about complying with building code, and I'd like to get input on that. It's interesting because I thought I had seen this. I just looked it up, and from Mayor Maloney's Facebook, he's got pictures of the new arena up there, and they don't have railings on the stairs in the stands either, and it's a brand new building. So be that as it may, I would be more comfortable with, again, referring this to staff for their comments first before suggesting that it be considered and included. I think that makes it problematic for me. I would certainly like to consider it, but I don't like the direction of and including it. So I don't know if we could, perhaps amend it to just get comments from staff. I think we do need to clear up the building code issue. The other thing that I think is, to me, a possibility would be putting handrails in a couple places, perhaps for people with that, with mobility issues. So there are some handrails they could at least get up in a certain location. But all that's part of the consideration and what can we do, and that's why I think referring it back to staff would make a lot more sense to me than saying we're going to consider it and include it as a project.
I'm going to just stop the conversation and say, would this help you that, say, seating area be evaluated as a project in a future capital? Would evaluate, because that sort of is considered, and then that leaves us to still include it. So could we, is it okay with the mover and seconder to, no? Okay, so we will, no, but let's have the conversation, but let's just leave that out there and see if that works for a minute. And does anybody else, before I go back to Councillor Varney, have anything to add? Aside from that one tweak by Councillor Jorgensen? And I mean, we can turn down his amendment as well, but. Okay, so I'm going to go back to Councillor Varney. Councillor Varney?
Thank you, through you, Madam Mayor. And maybe my wording of not to code, but I know the steps are very high. And when I was quite younger, I used to think these steps are very high. And as you say, maybe the code was different in those days, but yeah, I'm not the only one who said it's very difficult to go up those stairs. And I like the idea of what Councillor Jorgensen has suggested, is perhaps even having an area in the arena where it would be railing for people that could get up the steps to the top. They like to go to the top to watch the hockey. I'm surprised that a new arena in Bracebridge doesn't have railings. That's really quite surprising to me. Anyway, yeah, I guess I'm going to leave it there. I would like to see this, definitely like to see something happen, and whether we can go ahead and discuss it, take it to senior staff to discuss it and bring it back, but I think it has to be something that's for the Disability Committee to accept what's going on.
Does evaluated, so we have a better picture of what, like, I have to go there and look at it, to be quite honest, like evaluated, like I need to have an evaluation of my own, but I think staff should be evaluating it and deciding maybe there is one section where we put railing all the way, up in one section, or this is pretty, I would say, a very wide scope and it's too vague. So I think in order to make an informed decision, we need to have it explained to us what's there now, what it would look like, what that cost, and that's what staff are here to do. So we got the recommendation from the committee, and now it's our opportunity to take that recommendation and have it evaluated. So I think that sort of answers Councillor Jorgensen's concern. And I will go to Councillor Morphy, and, okay, Councillor Morphy.
Thank you, through you, Your Worship, to Councillor Varney. Just going back to the root cause, is there an incident? Is there a number of complaints? What's behind the motion? Has something happened that we need to know of?
Apparently, there have been people who have fallen down the stairs. They probably haven't been reported, but it's by word of mouth. And I believe Councillor Strength, thank you. It's the morphine, I'm sorry. Has said to me that she felt that the stairs were out of character for height, for walking upstairs with nothing to hold on to, except maybe the person that you're walking with. So that's the reason, and the committee, apparently, this has been an ask. I mean, this is only my first time on the Committee of Adjustment, or Accessibility, but it has been an ask for 10 years. So there obviously have been problems in the past that maybe we've not heard about.
Okay, so I will, did that answer your question? Okay. Counselor Jorgensen, did you have something like to add to the conversation? And I would like to move the amendment. Okay, so, all right. This is the, I can say, though, that this is the first, I'm not sure exactly, obviously, we see the minutes, but I think there's counselors that have sat here for the last 10 years, and this has not come forward to council as in a recommendation from the Accessibility Committee. So whether or not it just didn't get out of their committee in a formal way, I don't know. But, you know, I always say it moved as quickly as municipally possible, but you know, we're not that slow. We haven't heard about this directly before, so I will go to Councillor Jorgensen. I do have, he is asking for amendment. Do I have a seconder on that amendment? Yes, and we'll show it on the screen. And it says, it is moved by Councillor Jorgensen. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Strength, that the motion be amended to remove consideration and included. Considered. Considered and included to evaluated. So council, is there any comment on that recommendation to change it? And that gives staff an idea of what we're looking for, I believe, pretty clear direction rather than considered and included. Mr. CAO? Okay, well, if nobody's going to speak to it, I think that wording is more appropriate. Again, that way we get lots of options, and we have, I think it gives us a little more flexibility. Okay. So I will ask for a vote on the amendment. Yes. Okay, and the amendment carries. And if there's no other further questions, I'll ask for a vote on the motion, and we'll show the motion to Okay, and I do know that we have a couple members of our committee with us today, and I hope that you understand the reasoning behind sort of changing the, I think that suits the needs a little better as far as, you know, then we can look at different configurations and costs and things like that. I think it just gives a little more flexibility, so I can see them behind there, but yes, so we thank you for coming today, and thanks for bringing thanks, I mean, if it's been 10 years and we're just getting it now, we appreciate your you know, bringing it forward. So it's unfortunate if it's been there that long. Okay, so I called the question on that, and that carried? Okay. Okay, so please vote. Okay, and that was unanimous. So thank you for that. And again, thanks to the committee for coming.
We know that accessibility is a concern of citizens in Region 7. And if you don't know why you should be concerned about accessibility, we urge you to, again, watch the interview with Marie Francis that we will have at the end of this video. Making sure that buildings in cities are accessible to all is extremely important. We here at Métis Minute and Simcoe Community Media always encourage civic engagement. But if citizens don't feel welcome in their own cities, how are they supposed to engage with their community? If you have a concern or opinion that you would like shared about the issue we discussed here today, we encourage you to reach out to your Gravenhurst City Council and discuss it with them. As we mentioned, accessibility in cities is a concern for all citizens. So if you do not live in Gravenhurst, we urge you to contact your municipality and think about how your city could be more accessible to every citizen who lives there. Merci for watching, and we'll see you down the river.